Buenas amigos, ¿qué tal? Estamos de regreso and welcome to... This time is the first episode here on YouTube. I'm super thrilled because I want to talk to you more, like me as Beatrice, not me as anchor woman, not me as founder of Luxury Hospitality Talks, but goes around to find the best hotels around the world. So that's me, Beatrice, an Italian name that every time here in America is so complicated to say. Beatrice, Beatriz, lots of ways to say, as well as Bia. First time Bia was last year in Switzerland, or Bea from the very, very, very beginning, from nursery and kindergarten. Who is Bea? So this is another question. It's hard to define someone. It's hard to say, who am I? I only know that from the very beginning, I always had clear ideas. And especially, I've always knew what I wanted and what I didn't want to. So that is why all the choices in my life, the choice of studying a lot and being nerdy in high school, maybe too much sometimes. Sometimes I regret I didn't go out that much. But obviously, you know, if you're in a little town, there aren't like these many possibilities of discovering. Then of choosing a top university in Italy and doing what I wanted, so still business, and then decide the particular field I wanted to pursue. So I didn't want to let Bocconi decide for me, so study management in masters as well, and so on. But let's begin from the very beginning. So I'm also doing this video for like tips or whatever. So every time I'm receiving either DMs or questions on Instagram, from now on, I will make opposite videos in order for you to go directly to the video instead of calling me. And I mean, I would love to talk with any one of you, and the people that actually contacted me in Milan especially, and we had a coffee in the last month, were super enjoyable moments. But you know, time zone different, it's hard to communicate with my dearest ones. I had to schedule like 1 in the morning, 1 at noon, and then all the afternoon everyone is sleeping. So for me it's really hard to catch up with everyone. As long as I can, I would love to, but why not making a video for anyone that could be interested? So Beatrice was this little kid with long curly blonde hairs, super passionate about traveling. Since I was really young, my parents brought me around everywhere, but they didn't have the passion for hotels. For sure, they always chosen nice ones, especially when I was born. So this, I can blame you parents for that. When I was born, and it's quite a thing in Italy to go to these kind of villages where there are plenty of activities for kids. Kids are all day together, do something, and this is amazing, especially on holidays. So kids are happy, parents are happy, and instead of a simple nanny that could be a good option, especially when the kid is really, 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 really young. When it's grow further, having like a group of friends on holiday as well makes everything easier. But you know, they didn't have this passion, so sometimes we went to good hotel, sometimes a little worse, depending on the availability, depending on the location. But you know, I am the obsessed one. They don't care as long as it's a good hotel. So I don't know, I was 6, 7. I began going to the travel agencies. Back then, it was still a thing. Was a thing of booking for a travel agent, the travel agent talking directly to the hotel, making reservation, making all the particular requests to them. So, you know, I loved, like, it was my main thing, especially in summer when I was done with homework, because usually, yeah, you know, elementary homework are really easy, but still, people let them to the last moment. I wanted to make them done before the actual holiday. So when I was done with them, I was going to this travel agency, and I was enjoying the smell. I was enjoying everything that was there. So yeah, and you know, still all the leaflets with all the possibility of hotels. I was going in any of this, looking for the best one. Could you imagine a 7-year-old doing that? I was there. And then we began also going to Spain and to these areas. I mean, until in Spain, also much far away. But you know, the first hotel I was literally obsessed, and I knew all the details, knew the new openings, was Iberostar. So still, it's not a luxury hotel, it's a medium. It has like selected ones, so it's an upper upscales, but you cannot say it's a luxury one. But you know, I remember any single detail that I found on this leaflet, so you can imagine. So I grew. I fell in love with languages as well. I love English. I know that my accent and my pronunciation is not the best. I hope by the end of this year everything's gonna get better. But it's hard for people to tell that I'm from Italy, because I'm trying to speak as American as I can. Obviously I cannot, but at least I don't sound Italian. Sometimes I sound that, sometimes I sound whatever. And I fell in love with Spanish. Everyone that knows me knows how much I love Spanish, and every time that I can, I want to speak Spanish. For example, today there were some Argentinian, and for sure we began talking about Argentina and the wines, and yeah, I could have stayed there for ages speaking in Spanish with them. So these two languages, moreover, like my, I think, innate skills of making relationships, especially for like with elder peoples, because sometimes, like, yeah, it's quite normal if someone is outgoing to just have a lot of friends, but began learning and understanding and approaching elders is much difficult. So all of this together made me think, why can I not make this like passion of mine a career? So I started thinking, what if I build up an hotel? What if I work in this, you know? But back then I was in Bergamo, so still in the small town. There was this beautiful university in Milan, like calling me. And the first year of high school, I had the possibility of doing the yearly test, because back then was with high grades in high school. I made it, I passed it, so I said, me doing another exam to enter university? No, I'm already in my dream one. Why more? So yeah, I started my path in Bocconi. Obviously, at the very beginning, I had no idea about anything, like what I wanted, because at the beginning I was like, yeah, let's study arts and culture because I loved arts at school. But then thinking myself in that sector, no way. Like, I'm not a museum person. I love museums, but I don't like the idea of managing a museum. I don't like the idea of managing a theater. Actually, I have no idea about theater as well. Like, I merely go there. So I said, no, maybe it's not my place. I also began learning a lot about finance. I was in finance clubs. Sometimes I thought of changing path, but then I said, in Torrance there is a lot of culture, a lot of communication, and a lot of art. So maybe it's better to stick to the original plan, even if it's not my favorite. Somehow it was super positive, especially for the communication part, because a lot of jobs I was looking for, and I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about in general, needed that part. So I was so happy that eventually I also had these intrapersonal skills. But I forgot to tell you something. You know, like my final thesis, like little thesis, is called tesina in Italy, in high school, was about America, and was about destination America, like how all the people went to America and made it great. So the immigrations till obviously nowadays, from the very beginning, obviously we're there for needs. So for example, due to natural disasters, for example the one in Ireland that make a lot of one escape, the crisis every time they happen, but also the intellectual one during the Second World War. So I had already this idea of coming here, but maybe I will do another video about that all in detail. But let's continue the path of who I am. So Bocconi was also an art chapter, especially because of the pandemic. I spent 2 out of 3 years at my place. So, I fell in love with Milan the first year I went there. I still consider it my home. It's right here in my heart. It's the thing I miss the most. Sorry, parents. Sorry, people. You know that I love you. But Milan is the thing I miss the most. I miss the street. I miss the hotels. Actually, I cannot see myself rather than there. But the COVID started. So I had to spend 2 years at home. So after living a little bit alone, I had to go back home. Can you imagine? But still, I had the feeling that something else I wanted out of my education. I wanted to discover the world. I wanted to be more independent as well. So I said, I cannot be here for another year, or actually for 2 years, because in Italy the master is so long. So I said, let's look abroad. And actually the best in hospitalities are in Switzerland. But obviously about the enrollment, the tips, and everything about hospitality will be in another video. And after that, I had to apply for a job, because in Switzerland, in order to graduate, I had to do an internship. Still, I decided to stay in Switzerland to have a bit of a blast of this wonderful country. I would never live there. Sorry guys, it's like, I know it's amazing, especially for banks and for a lot of things, for salaries, life is safe. But you cannot make it if you're not going back to your home country, or still if you go around every day, every weekend. Like, the good thing about Switzerland is that the distances are almost like going around California. So for me, it was easy to take a car to go to Munich one day, almost go to Berlin. It was just 6 hours. To go back to Milan, it was 4 hours and a half. To go to Annecy on the other side. After that, you could go to France. You could take a train to Paris. Obviously, it's in the middle of everything. Everything works smoothly. Planes depart at the exactly time. So whatever. But I would never live there. So I decided to look for something else. And I said, I have to work in hotels. Like, the thing I said during my oral presentation in high school was, I will open my own hotel in the Caribbean and it will be an eco-chic hotel. So what if I study more the market? What if I go near the places? I know that it's not Caribbean. I know that it's America. America has obviously a lot of more possibilities than Caribbean. Even if in Caribbean, the landscapes and everything are not that exploded. So you can still, make an opportunity out of that. But I said I have to learn for the best. So I decided to apply here. And also will be another video telling how to apply and all the steps, especially for Europeans and especially for this type of visa and for this program that are slightly different for what also I thought at the very beginning. But the funny thing about this is that you can make the most out of it. So for example, you want something, as long as is part of the plan, you can ask as much as you can. So you can make 0 out of this or 1,000. So there is this, all the things I told you right now from a professional point of view. On a personal point of view, I would have to fill up videos, but obviously if you want that part as well, I'm glad. I have lots of funny stories to tell. And actually, I think I'm quite a disaster, honestly, but I'm finding myself here. I also want to empower myself to be every day the best version of myself. So I also want you guys to follow me in this path and to see also my growth during this year. So this is the video I firstly made on my 3rd week of work, because today is Saturday and Saturday is the first day. So it's the first day of my 3rd week. I work 2 weeks. Here in America, you have a weekly salary. So can you imagine how happy I am? I work my hours. I'm paid for what I do. I love doing what I do, and especially I will do a video about this, so not only the enrollment and the program, but also literally what I'm doing here, like literally all my tasks. And just to tell you, today I had to speak in Italian, so I was super happy about that. And actually I could make it mine because I was the only one able to speak, and the guest was so happy. Yeah, so this will be the full version on YouTube. You're gonna find me also in all the other social media as usual. I'm trying to differentiate myself, so you're gonna find different versions for every channel. But still, let me know if you like this format. I don't want the videos to be too long. So yeah, I will stick between 20 and 25 minutes, while I will do a little bit of sum up in Instagram. What else? I really hope I can make an interview at my hotel, the hotel I'm working into, for the next Lux Hospitality Talks, but I'm not too confident about, because here in America there are so many rules that makes everything almost impossible. But as I could in Miami, I don't know why I cannot here. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this new format, and stay tuned por mucho más here. How can I call this? On my channel.